All right, I just want to get on here and show you what God has been doing today. The things that He has shown me today. And I just want to make clear before I get into this, like, I kind of, in the moments where I was stuck and I needed God to show me, certain things. And I'm going to explain what those things were. Like, what I would do is I would talk to the Lord, telling Him that I needed answers. And I'm making this video because He has shown me answers. So I just want to, get that out in the open first and foremost. But I've been, going back to the book of Enoch. And I know there's a lot of Christians that are for it and whatnot. And then other Christians, talk about it, but they're not really for it. Well, see, the reason why I am for the book of Enoch is because I've tested, there's, two things that continuously, I continue to test, and they continue to prove that they're truth, right? And truth actually comes from God. Truth is actually inspired by God. God cannot lie. Um, and so, therefore, if the book of Enoch actually holds truth, um, at what point do we come to understand that maybe the book of Enoch is actually inspired by God? Because maybe there was, somebody that God was like, you know what? I'm going to show this person, you know, give them true, because you got to go back to the Watchers when they were giving people knowledge, and they were giving them the wrong type of knowledge. Now, obviously, why does so many people believe in that, type of knowledge? And part of that knowledge would be horoscope reading and tarot cards and things like that, right? Like obviously, demonic, witchcraft. But why is witchcraft so popular? Why is tarot card reading so popular? Why is, angel thing, all of these, zodiac things, why are they so popular? Well, they're popular is because there's a little bit of truth. Now, just because there is a little bit of truth to them does not mean that they're inspired by God. But watch, what do we know? We know that there is some truth to them. There has to be some truth to them, or else people would not be that naive to believe it. I mean, they would test it out. It wouldn't work. they would just forget it, right? So part of it, we know that, yeah, there has to be just enough there to, you know, to bring the simple minded and the foolish people, to get them to believe in what would be a lie. Second thing, my second point is, okay, if there's, if these watchers are, telling people, giving people knowledge, there's some truth to the knowledge that they're giving, but there, it's not really, it's still false teaching, right? There has to be, you know, an ultimate, teaching on these things that would be true. And so, and here's what I'm saying, like, for instance, for example, astrology, the study of the sun, moon, and stars, the study of space. There is a witchcraft side of astrology, but we know that God created the sun, moon, and stars, right? So if he did, so astrology teaches us that the sun, moon, and stars, they have a law that they follow. And it kind of goes through, the seasons and, like, and all of that. Um, but we know that the version that the watchers teached or taught was wrong, was a lie. But if God created the sun, if he created the moon, he created the stars, if he created the universe, obviously we know that God gave them a law to follow. He gave them a law to follow. Well, there is a wrong um, teaching of that law, which would be the witchcraft, that would be horoscope readings, right? Because that would be witchcraft. But again, we know that there has to be a right, godly, biblical teaching. And I'm here to tell you, yeah, it kind of sounds like the book of Enoch would be just that. Nothing more, nothing less. Teaching us the true laws of the sun, moon, and stars. Not what you learn from the watchers, not what you learn from reading horoscopes. But this would be a different type of teaching. So, I mean, I would even go as far to say, would we be able to call the Book of Enoch's teaching astrology? Probably not, because it is like, in a sense, it's the same, but it's different. It's different because it's inspired by God. It is truth. I can tell you It is truth. I have spent many years and I'm still researching. I'm still finding out new things, interesting things. But I'm finding out that it is all true, 100%. There is no lie in it whatsoever. Like it's 100% truth, facts, facts. And what I'm about to show you is time. So in the book of Enoch, it doesn't just talk about um, the seasons of the year and things like that. It also talks about the calendar and it also talks about time. Well, when you get to the calendar, you know, the when Enoch explains the months of the year, you can kind of create your own calendar. But within that, you find out that there are only 18 hours in a day, in one day, not 24, 18. And so you would be like, well, that sounds kind of odd. Why would there, that seems like it would be less. Wait just a moment. Because it's actually the same. How is it the same, you might ask? You might ask, how is it the same? Well, instead of a 12-hour clock, there's a 9-hour clock. That's pretty obvious. But instead of 60 minutes equaling 1 hour, now you have 90 minutes that equals 1 hour. And so, again, that's 90 minutes in an hour and 90 seconds in 1 minute. So in our 12-hour clock, we have 60 seconds that is equal to 1 minute and 60 minutes equal to 1 hour. Well, in the 9-hour clock, 9 plus 9 is 18. For the 9-hour clock, you have 90 minutes that would equal 1 hour. 90 seconds would equal 1 minute. The millisecond stays the same. I know I made a video probably years ago saying that that would, change, but you cannot change the millisecond. So it's 1,000 milliseconds per second, and that doesn't change. I'm going to describe to you, though, however, how that would work in a 9-hour clock, because so in a 9-hour clock, however, you can't have the second hand tick every single second. That's just impossible. In a because I would like in a 9-hour clock, you cannot really put like nine, you can't put 90. So you would have like, say, a 9 vertical, and then you would have the one here to, kind of almost similar to our clock that we have now. And what would go in between that would be little dashes. You can't fit 90 of those dashes there. You just can't do it. So what you would have to do is, and I have a clock drawn out for you, but I don't have, but what you would have to do is you would have to put two little dots. One dot for 30 minutes and the other dot for our seconds. So one dot would be for 30 seconds, the other dot would be 30 seconds. 30 seconds plus 30 seconds, that's 60, obviously. But to help you follow, so you would have to put two little dots. I don't know exactly where. You would have to space them, you know, like, so, evenly. But then, so you would have two little dots, 30 seconds each. Then you'd have a tiny little dash that would equal to 1 minute. A dot here, a dot here, a little dash there. Again, 1 minute. So you got 30 seconds, 30, 60, 1 minute, 30, 60, 2 minutes, 30, 60, 3 minutes, 30, 60, 4 minutes. Dot, dot, dash, dot, dot, dash, But then when you got to, let's say, 5 minutes, you might want to put like just a little bit of a bigger dash. So I got 2 minutes. I got 3 minutes. This is not going to be 100%, correct. Actually, let me draw this part. Let me do this part up here. So you'd have dot, dot, little dash, 1 minute, dot, dot, little dash, 2 minutes. Then you have dot, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, dash, 1 minute. There's 3 minutes, dot, dot, dash, 4 minutes, dot, dot, bigger dash, 5 minutes. So I don't know if, well, up here, see how you have the dot, dot, 1 minute, the dash, the small dash is for 1 minute, and then you get to 5 minutes and it's the bigger dash. So that's what you would have to do in between the 9 and 1. Then you'd have to do that again between the 1 and 2, and then so on and so forth. Because you cannot fit 90 dashes within that small little space. It's just impossible. So the second hand um, would tick, tick, tick. It cannot tick every 1 second. It would like every 3 seconds. So the clock that we have now ticks every 1 second. Um, you know, it tick, 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 you know, it ticks for, every the little second hand, the very small, it goes, every single second. Well, in the 9 hour clock, it cannot tick every second. It would have to tick every 3 seconds. So every 3 seconds, it would one, two, boom, one, two, boom. You know, signifying every 3 seconds. Then when it was on one of those dots that I drew on top of there, that would signify, 30 seconds. The second dot would signify 60 seconds, and then the little dash would signify 1 minute. The big dash would signify 5 minutes, and then the one, the two, the three, that would all be 10 minutes, just like they are now. Um, it's, 10 minutes. Um, so that's how the 9 hour clock would have to work. So even though, and here's what I figured out, even though the millisecond, you don't change the millisecond stays the same. That just, you can't change that. Like, I originally thought that you would have to change that, but you can't, because if you changed it, you're changing, you know like, you're adding or subtracting, how many hours, like, overall, like, um the time, um like, your is it cannot be done. So the millisecond actually stays the same, but the with a 9 hour clock, the second hand has to tick every 3 seconds. Well, how do you do that? How do you get a um, clock to one, two, boom, one, two, how do you get that to happen? Well, you have to, oh boy, this is falling apart. But this came out of a clock that I, took apart. Obviously, that's so if this was put together, that's obviously what meant, you put the battery in, and the battery, um, that's how, so that that actually is supposed to go there. And I don't know exactly 100% how this all functions. Um, 'Cause it's fallen apart on me. But there, as you can see, there is different wheels. There's different wheels. Each wheel, obviously does something. And one of these wheels is for the minute hand, the other one's for the second hand, and one of them's for the hour hand. I don't really know which one is for which, technically. Like, I don't necessarily know, but the wheels, obviously, they're there to operate the clock. Now, I do know that the bigger one is for the hour hand. The smaller one is for the, obviously, is for, because the smaller the wheel is, the faster. So that would definitely be for the, uh, you know. However, I I will be honest. I do know what I need to do. I need to rearrange these wheels. So again, these wheels need to be rearranged. But I have, like, so I know the ratio needs to be, but how do I figure out, what wheel goes in what, place and things like that? Like, in order for it to work. Like, that's where I am kind of stumped and I need a little assistance. And technically, look, I know that there's like somewhere like maybe a book, or maybe there's videos or something that I can get a quick basic study. And that's really what I'm saying is if I had the basic study, I would have this done already. But I need to get the basic study. So I need to figure out where I can get the basic study of, because I really do not have the foggiest idea of just, I know I need to rearrange the wheels, but like where do I like where do I start? Um they need to be rearranged, but how? And that's the part that I'm stumped with right now, because I just don't have any training whatsoever on. So I know what I need to do, I just don't know how to get it done, because I don't have the training to um, figure out what we, where to put what wheel. Um, so where do I put what wheel? Like that's the big question. But I mean, I'm not in panic mode. I know that God gave me the gift of knowledge for a reason. He gave me the gift of knowledge for a reason, and that reason is so that I can, part of that reason is so that like I can easily learn the basics of, anything that I wanted to learn. So, and really, again, once I learn, when I find out where I can learn the basics, I'll have this figured out no problem. Like, and then I will have a hopefully a fully functional 9-hour clock. And I will be able to really test to see if it is, you know, if it is true. But for now, um, something interesting that I just found. So, as I drew a clock on a piece of paper, so what I did was I drew a clock and I, placed dots. That's 1, that's 8, that's 7, 2, 3, um, 6, that's a 4, and that's a 5. Um, 8 plus 1 equals 9, right? 8 plus 1 equals 9. 2 plus 7 equals 9. 3 plus 6 equals 9. 4 plus 5 equals 9. And then vice versa, right? So you have, again, 8 plus 1, that's 9. 2 plus 7, that's 9. 3 plus 6 is 9. And 4 plus 5 equals 9. So what I did was I put 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. Well, if you haven't noticed, I've also put 18, 18, because 9 plus 9, that equals 18. And then, so I put 18, and then I put 18, 18, 18. So there's 4 sets of 18. And so that's interesting. I said, that is interesting. 4 sets of 18. Watch this. There is 4 seasons in 1 year. So here there's 4 sets of 18 and 4 sets, or excuse me, 4 seasons in 1 year, 4 sets of 18. So that's so that's a W. The SP the SP is for spring, the S alone is for summer, and then the where's well, somewhere where there would be an F, that would be for fall. So that's for fall. SP, no, here. SP, spring, summer, fall, winter. Spring, summer, fall, winter. And so, interesting. But watch this. It gets even more interesting. So, on the left side, you have 9, you got 4 nines. You got 9, 9, 9, 9. On the left side, you got, so, 8 plus 1, 9, 7 plus 2, 9, uh, uh, 6 plus 3, 9, 4 plus 5, 9. That's 4 nines. Again, summer or spring, summer, fall, winter. Interesting. So even within the 4 nines, see, you got 2 groups of 4. So you got one group of 4 is on the right side, and the other group of 4, nines would be on the opposite side of a 9-hour clock. And summer or spring, summer, fall, winter. Spring, summer, fall, winter. So with both, when you do 9, 9, 9, 9, that's 4 nines. Well, again, 4 seasons in 1 month. So it doesn't matter if you break it down into 2 groups of 4 nines, or you break it down into 4 groups of 18, of the number 18. So you can have 4 groups of the number 18. Obviously, that's 4 seasons in 1 year. Or you can do 2 sets of 4 nines each on either side. And guess what? Yeah, you can do this. So what I'm saying there is, and hopefully with putting enough emphasis on that, you understand how the 9-hour clock matches the 4 seasons in 1 year. Okay, let's compare that to the clock that we use, 12 hours, 12-hour clock. So when you get to the 12-hour clock, and I'm going to do it like this. you have 12 minus 6 equals 6. 1 minus 7 equals 6. 2 minus 8 equals 6. 3 minus 9 equals 6. 4 minus 10 equals 6. Or 10 minus 4, sorry. You got 10 minus 4 equals 6. 11 minus 5 equals 6. So you have a whole bunch of 6's. Well, let's pair them up. You got the 6 from the 1 and the 2. That's equal to 12. So that's one pair of 6's. You got two pairs of 6's with the 3 and the 4. And then the 5 and the 6, you got another pair, right? So that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So then you have the 7 and 8, the pair of the, two 6's. That's 7 and 8. Okay. And then you have the two 6's, the 6 and the 10. And then the pair of 6's, from the 11 and 12. Like when you pair them up. And guess what? You have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's a year. That's 4 seasons. But then you have, well, then you only have two pairs of 6's left. You only have two pairs of 6's left. Well, that's only a half a year. 2 seasons is a half a year. Well, go back to the 9-hour clock. It had 2 sets of 4, 9, 9, 9, and 9. Well, it's, pretty simple. That equals 4 seasons, 1 year. This does not equal the clock that we use does not equal 4 seasons, 1 year. It's as simple as that. And I know you would be like, well, who cares, right? Who cares? We just use time to navigate, right? No, we actually use time for more than that. See, we're actually supposed to, time is supposed to match not just match the calendar. So time and the calendar are supposed to match. But time is supposed to match the sun from sunrise to noon to sunset. And the clock that we use today does not match how many hours the sun shines. See, the reason why there is only 18 hours is because there are only so many hours that there is daylight and so many hours of um, night. And in the book of Enoch, it tells you for each month how many hours of day versus how many hours of night there are. And so in some months there is, you know, and I think there's one month that actually is 9 hours of daylight and 9 hours of, you know, of night. And that is equal to, you know, again, that's equal to 18. And so there's another month that has 8 hours of, you know, this and 10 hours of that. Well, again, that's 18 hours total. So it depends, it all depends on which month you are in, but you can see that it does not match with um, the clock that we use does not match with the seasons. So it doesn't even match with, you know, the law of the sun. And time, that's what time is there for. Time is to help us navigate the sun and the moon. And how are we able to navigate the sun and the moon if our clock that we use does not, you know, match up with that, doesn't fit that? So, you know, that's why I get on here and, you know, talk about the book of Enoch. And that's why I get on here and talk about um, the like how many hours are supposed to be in a day, and things like that, because um, it just it needs to align with, you know, the law that God gave the sun. Um, so yeah, me, because I say me and you as well, are learning together, because everything that I learn new about this, you know, clock and like the, you know, time and calendar from the book of Enoch, the more I learn, the more I share. And so what I learn, I'm sharing with you guys so that you, the people on the other side of the screen, are able to learn it as well. So hopefully you're able to go back and rewatch this video and learn, you know, a little bit of what I have, figured out what the Lord really, because the glory goes to him. Because again, at the beginning of the video, I said there were times when I was stuck, and I said, Lord, I really need your help. And he gave me answers. And these are the answers that he showed me. And so that's why I'm sharing with you in this video.